Good afternoon. So we have some movement on the gun front, and so I want to give you guys an update, get you guys involved because we don't have a lot of time and we're gonna have to move fast. And so if you guys can hear this, please let me know. I'll let you guys hop in here, but we need to cover some things. We have to cover them fast and be prepared because they are on the move. And so kind of where we're at, and I've gotten some inside information from some of my contacts up there in the Capitol, and so everything, nothing set in stone yet. I just want you guys to be aware, so you guys have enough time that if we have to be there, we can be there. And so if you guys can hear this, please let me know. I'll kind of wait for you guys to jump on. And we're going to talk about it. So it's been eerily quiet the last couple days. I know they have a lot of things that are going on up there, and so hey, Larry, how you doing? And so kind of what we're doing is I just got an alert saying I've been monitoring. So I've been watching everything and just kind of monitoring. I've been looking at all these different bills. So I've been watching 243. I've been watching 3075. I've been watching 3076, 947. 473 and then also 1015. So I've been watching all of these bills. And as of late, there's been, no movement. And I just got a text from one of my friends up there. And supposedly, and this isn't set in stone, but I want to give you guys an update to see where we're at, is Senate Bill 243 could be scheduled for a public hearing in the Rules Committee on the House side as early as tomorrow. And so I'm waiting for the alert to come from OLIS because that means that there'll be a change in the status of this bill. And so I want to give you guys an update. So, if you guys can be there, if we have to be there for public testimony, it'd be really great. And, this is, we have not less than 19 days left in the session, supposedly. Okay. 19-ish days. Okay. So I think, this is where things are going to start moving extremely fast. Some of the things I've been watching is the tax increase. There's a bill that's going to raise, like they're going to try to raise the kicker. They say it's for wildfires. It's not for wildfires. It's so they can impose all of this gun control of us on us along with all the other things. Okay, so just be aware. They say, and the Republicans have done a really good job about sounding the alarm. In the transportation package, they're talking about a fuel increase. They're talking about an income tax increase. They're talking about a payroll tax increase. So they're talking about all these different increases to us as Oregon residents. And what they're going to do is they're going to funnel that money to do what they need to do for their pet projects. Okay, so that's where we all should be aware and be part of this process. And so that's kind of where we're at. I want to give you that update. This is like, it got to me literally 5 minutes ago. I checked my sources there on OLIS. Nothing has been updated, and so I just wanted to just get on here. I'm hoping that this was just kind of a false alarm here, but I want to be able to give you guys the information as quickly as I can, because this stuff, the way it's going to move now, because we don't have a lot of time, is they're going to have to move and not give us any notice. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be stuck, and we might not be able to offer any kind of input or perspective. And I think that's bad for us. So that's why I want to give you this information as early as I could, because I want to make sure you guys are part of this process. And so, obviously what I'm watching now is I'm watching 243 closely. That's the one that talks about the rapid fire devices ban, also the preemption ban on guns in public places. So there's a big push there. Those ones are going to be the ones that are up first because they have the less fiscal impact to the state of Oregon. So this is the one that they're really going to have an easier time passing. When we're talking about 3075, 3076, there's quite a bit of fiscal impact, and so they're not going to be able to pass that one easily. And so that's why, if I'm reading the tea leaves correctly, that's where the one I would think that they would want, because they have to get one gun control law per year. It has to happen. It's what they've done for since 2015, and it's what they do every year. Is some once one or two in this situation, because of the budget and the shortfall and everything they're doing, despite the federal government, they're probably only going to have the money to maybe pass one. And so that's where I'm thinking that it's going to be this one. Obviously, I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I know them pretty well. Yeah, and so I would feel confident saying that. And so that's kind of where I'm at. So you guys, if you guys can have any questions, put them in the chat. Let me know. And I'm kind of fired up about it because I want to make sure that you guys are part of this process. Because what we're going to need to do is make sure that we might have to submit testimony again because we're going to get another shot at 243. And so what happens as soon as this thing is scheduled for that public hearing in the rules committee, we're going to get another shot to testify. Okay, super important that we either testify in person or remotely. Okay, these are the two most important things that we can do. Also, we're going to get another opportunity to submit written testimony. Okay, so this thing, we need to submit this as part of the record. This is going to be part of this process. Currently, we're outnumbering them probably 10 to 15 to 1 in testimony. Okay, so our written testimony is done so great, and so you guys have done a tremendous job this year. And so hats off to you guys. And so but we got to keep up this pressure. If we don't keep up the pressure, we are going to lose. This is our only hope. And so that's where I'm kind of hoping that we can make sure that we're up to date, we're pushing back, and we're moving forward. Okay, so we have a short window of time to work with. Okay, and so that's where everything is going to move really really quickly. I did talk to the screen printer today. The t-shirts are ready, so I will have those ready. I have the final approval. I'm going to submit it after I do this video so we can say thumbs up. I'm going to order them. We're going to have them for when we need to be up there in the Capitol. They are going to be great, and I cannot wait. Okay. And so rights over demands. Okay, rights over demands. Okay, your demands do not trump my rights. And I'm going to wear a shirt, and I'm going to be proud of that shirt because it's something that it's very true. And so that's where I'm coming from. So um, let's see what we got here. So David, yeah, 100%, Dave. David. So a lot of this stuff, it's already been ruled. The rapid fire device already got ruled at the federal level. It's not a machine gun. The ATF got slapped down in court. It's not a machine gun. It's a rapid fire device. It's semi-automatic. This law is written by people that don't have the basic understanding of our firearms, and they should not be writing policy. Okay, period. Full stop. And so that's kind of where I'm at there. So I feel that this is going to open them up for more litigation. Obviously, then we got a challenge. So this thing has to go into effect. Somebody has to have some sort of harm caused by this new law, and then that's when we can file a lawsuit. Or depending on the situation, we could maybe get a TRO, a temporary restraining order, like what we did out at our Harney County. So that might be an option. Obviously, I leave the legal to the legal team. I'm just kind of bringing information to you guys, hopefully to get you guys involved and making sure that you guys are part of this. Now is not the time to slow down. Now is the time to double down on the work and make sure that we're doing what we need to do to push back on this stuff. So we should be reaching out to our senators. We should be reaching out to our representatives. They should be hearing from us. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of work that goes in the next couple days. Okay, then towards the end of the session. Okay, so we should be letting them know that we are in their districts. We are one of their constituents, and how you feel about this legislation and how you do not want them to pass any more gun control. Okay, flat out. And I know there's a lot of people that are skeptical, but it's all part of this process. And when we are silent, that is when they think that it doesn't matter to us. They continue to do what they do. Things that we should be talking about in our emails is recalls. Okay, there's a lot of paranoia up there about recalls. We should be investigating, researching, and working on recalls in our different areas. Okay, I'm in Eugene. I'm still working on putting everything together for Senator James Manning. He's on my list of people that I'm going to start initiating a recall, and that's where I'm going to go. Okay, so I'm working on the paperwork. It is a process. Okay, and so we should be doing that all in different areas. The only way these people are going to wake up is when they have something happen to them that they're not used to. Okay, they're not used to the R word, the recalls. Okay, they're used to doing what they want to do when they want to do it. And I'm going to capitalize on James Manning. If there's somebody that can hammer Prozansky, we're going to capitalize on the fact they're shutting down the public library. They're shutting down a project at the Eugene Mainland Suite Airport because they don't have the funding for that. Okay, so these are great examples. The Amazon pool, that's another thing that they're shutting down. Okay, so these are things that I'm going to use to my advantage to build support to recall these politicians on my end. And you guys could all do the same. We were working on Krupp. I don't know what we're doing in the Bend area, but this is something that they're really afraid of. Obviously we have Manning and Prozansky. Those are very seasoned politicians, and they're not used to this. The problem is they do not have the support that they think that they do. The what's happening in the city of Eugene is really unprecedented when it comes to the budget shortfall. And so that's where they're not used to what's happening. And so that's why I think there's a good chance that we could capitalize on that. Julie Fahey in the Eugene area, Junction City area, will be another one that would be a good candidate to be recalled. And she is pretty influential. And so these are just things to think about. Okay. I just want to bring this stuff to you too as soon as I could, so you guys could be prepared on, where we're at, what we can do, and the kind of the plan going forward. And so, if you guys have any questions, how are you guys feel? One thing to think about is, can we miss a Wednesday? Like if we have to go up there for, testimony, is there people that can join us up there? That's a question that I would like to, figure out the answer to, so we can actually push back on this stuff. And it's the last thing we all want to do, I guarantee it, but we have to see it through. If we are silent, we are going to lose, and we have nobody else to blame but ourselves. And it's because we didn't see it through. I mean, we got to keep working until that Senate sign dying. Okay, so that's when the legislature is done for the year, and then we can sit back and relax and regroup and prepare for the next year. So it's just something that it's the last thing we want to do, but it's something that's really, really important. We've come so far, and we've done so many good things so far together, and we just got to see it through. And so another thing that I'm watching is 3075, 3076. There was a call about those possibly coming alive again. I see that as a lower probability just because of the sheer amount of moving parts. And, one thing to think about 3075 is basically Measure 114 2.0. And I would be willing to bet that there may be a decision coming out of the Oregon State Supreme Court coming out pretty soon. And so maybe that's why we're hearing movement, because maybe there's some intercommunication there between the Supreme Court and the legislature. And so maybe we're going to get something that's going to be in our favor. And this is all hypothetical, okay? I'm just trying to paint a big picture for you, okay? And so I'm not speaking. This could be a rumor. I don't want everybody to take it as the gospel, because obviously Tony Aiello will let us know when it's time. But it's just kind of funny to me, if they were going to be victorious in Measure 114, why bring out 3075? And 3075 has been silent since, February, January time. If there's been no movement there, and now all of a sudden with 19 days left, now there's starting to be a movement. So that kind of tells me, and I'm reading between the lines, and I'm not saying that this is 100% accurate, but this is where I'm kind of connecting the dots. So just something to think about there. And so it would be good news for us if Measure 114 was shot down. And that would be great for us. And we hope and we pray and we celebrate if that does happen. But they always have some trick up their sleeve. It's a nasty, nasty game. So I just wanted to give you that update. And so focus. As soon as I know more about Senate Bill 243, because I think that's going to be the first one up, and that could be as soon as tomorrow. We're going to need to be up there. There's going to be a public hearing in the Rules Committee on the House side. And so that's where we get to testify again. And this is where we get to talk about the fact that it's on face value, it's unconstitutional. We can talk about the budget impact, because this is an unfunded mandate to the state of Oregon, those local municipalities. I'll use Eugene as an example because I live in Eugene. So that's going to be an unfunded mandate on their end because they're going to be tasked with enforcing all of this new regulation. Okay, and so just something to think about there. So there's things that we have working in our advantage. We're just going to have to work together. There's going to be a way to apply or to testify on online or in person, and I'm gonna try to be there. If it's gonna go tomorrow, I'm gonna clear my schedule. I'm gonna be up there, and so if there's people that can join me, that would be great. And I'm working on the shirts. We'll have the shirts hopefully in the next couple days, and we can kind of go from there. And so that's where I'm at. So any questions, comments, concerns? I'm gonna kind of clear my or refresh my comments here. You guys are quiet. Hopefully this all helps and makes sense. You know. Um, so I will keep you posted. I'm just refreshing my screen. I apologize for the dead air, and I'm just trying to figure out where we're at. And I'm not going to have a lot of time to put out a message, and so the message is going to be it's going to be quick, and we're going to have to make sure that we can get involved. And so if there's people that live in Salem or close to Salem that can be there, I'll try to have the time narrowed down as best I can. It most likely it's going to be the 1 o'clock hour or the 3 o'clock hour, depending on the committee, and so or it could be as early as 8 o'clock. So that's going to be another one. So it all depends on when that committee is going to convene, and I'll try to give you the best information that I can, and then we'll kind of go from there. And if we have, any, hey Jarrett, how you doing, buddy? And so that's kind of where I'm at. We got to make sure that we stay up to date. The rapid fire devices is up next. It's going to be the ban on concealed carry for law abiding citizens in ground or on public spaces, and that's going to be a bad one because there's criminal penalties involved. So that's a bad thing, and so just got to make sure that we're part of this process. And I know it's the last thing we want to do, but we're so close. We're so close to the end of the session, and we've come so far, and it would be so Chip, so what's going on is I just got a word, and please double check this with me. I want you to kind of help keep an eye on this with me. So Senate Bill 243, from a source that I heard up there, that there's a good chance that we're going to get a public hearing tomorrow in the Rules Committee on the House side. Okay, so that's going to move up the clock for us. We have about 19 days left of the session. The public hearing is going to give us time to either testify in person or online, and then we also can submit testimony up to 48 hours after that public hearing. So there's things that we got going on. Yeah, so 3075. So this, Greg, I don't want to alarm people, and I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just trying to, I want people to kind of check in. 3075, I did see a post just a few minutes ago that they're talking about bringing that one back. And so I want us to be aware of that one. So the first one up most likely is going to be 243 because that's going to be the easiest one for them to pass because of the fiscal impact. And so I'm focused more on 243. Even I'm watching them all right now. There's about 6 or 7 bills that I'm watching. Okay. The ones that I'm watching are Senate Bill 243. That's the first one. 3075, 3076, 947, and then there's 473, and then there's 1015. Okay, I threw a lot of numbers at you, but they're all part of the oldest. You guys can check there and you kind of see where they're at. You can sign up for the email alerts. And so I just want you guys to be aware. We haven't seen any movement yet. Okay, as soon as we see the movement, we'll know where we're going to go, what we're going to do. And so so I believe, okay, and this is something that I need to double and verify. Let me look on my 3076 is going to be in Ways and Means. Let me look at 3075 real quick. Let me get where it's at. 1 second. 3075. That one's in Ways and Means as well. So what that tells me is those are both going to be budget related because of the sheer amount of money it's going to cost. And so that's why those are still there, 3075, 3076. And so 243 is in the rules. That's where it went because it's just a big messy bill. So just things to be aware of, okay? I just want to give you that heads up. So as soon as I hear more, I will let you guys know. But I wanted to give you, if you guys can make it tomorrow, if it is tomorrow, I mean, it would be really helpful to have people there for public testimony. And this will be like the fourth or fifth time we testified on this bill. So it's pretty. Let me see who's on that committee real quick. Let me check the committee, and we'll go from there because I want to say that that was a pretty good committee that's going to be in our favor. And so let me see House Committee on Rules. Okay, let's see who's on that. So we have Ben Bowman, we have Christine Drazen, Pham is on there, Boshart Davis is on there, Lucetta Elmer, and then we got Jason Krupp. This guy is the worst. And then we have Valderrama. I would imagine it's almost 50-50. Okay, so this is a good committee to be in front of. Okay, so we have that in our favor. Okay, so that's something that we should be aware of. Is we do have. I feel that Pham is very reasonable, and I feel that we can actually reason with her, and I think that she does understand the topic and the issue. So I feel good about that. Um, so that's something to think, and think about when we're contacting these people, right? We're going to be asking them for them to vote for us, to help us, right? Even if they're on the other side of the aisle. And one thing that we should really make clear is the way Oregon politics works. It's such a partisan issue. So regardless, like let's say I'll use Jason Krupp as an example. Even if he's not going to vote in opposition, but let's say if he did, okay, his constituents are still going to vote for him next year or his next reelection because he has a D in front of his name. That's the only credential that he needs, is that he has a D. And so what we need to do is, paint the message and the picture in a way for even these Democrats that are like moderate, that could be reasonable on our side, is say, hey, like vote because this is a bad bill, not because this is a partisan issue. Making it harder for us to conceal carry guns is not going to do anything to solve the gun crimes that we have in the state of Oregon. We're focusing on the wrong people. And so if we get painted in that kind of picture, maybe that would help us, right? We have to kind of personalize this. And so my advice is just like, that the next election cycle, their constituents and their supporters are going to vote for them regardless of what they say today or tomorrow. They're still going to get that vote from their supporters, because none of them are ever going to be primaried, because they are just going to fall in line and do what everybody else does. It's groupthink. And so that's just something to be aware of, okay? And that's something that, we don't talk about enough, but it's like people are going to vote for Democrats because they identified with Democrats. And it's only because they have that D in front of their name. And that's the problem with Oregon politics. It's very partisan. It doesn't need to be partisan. We should really take away the D or the R in front of people's names and just talk about the ideas, okay? Let the ideas win, okay? Because when we start focusing on the D's and the R's, we all lose, okay? So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna post this video on YouTube, so you guys can share it outside of the group, and let your neighbors know, your friends know, that we still have movement in 243. So this stuff is still alive, and we just got to make sure that we're part of the process and we can stop it. So I'll leave you with that. You guys have a great day. I'll keep you guys posted if I hear any more, and let's keep our fingers crossed that this is just a blip and they don't have the gumption to see it all the way through. And hopefully we beat it. So I'll know more hopefully soon. I'll let you know. So thank you so much for tuning in, and you guys have a great day.